Hi, everyone, and welcome to my Did You Know series. We are on episode 5, and in this episode, I want to talk about text boxes. So, we had an update not too long ago, and everybody was up in arms about the text box and that it had changed and it no longer has the little icons on the corners to rotate, and there was a delete button and all that good stuff. So those things have disappeared, although those things are in other places and none of those things are gone. So the first thing I want to talk about with text boxes is rotating. So the rotate used to be like the little half circle, kind of like this circle up here, and it was in one of the corners. Well, now to rotate, you can go up here and then you can rotate by, making this bigger or smaller, and you can rotate that way. However, I find it a lot easier to use it right here. So if you hover just outside of the corner, you're going to see that little arced arrow and you can rotate it from there. And the nifty thing about that is it works in any corner. So if you can see the arc there, here, whereas before we only could access it from one of the corners, now we can access it from all 4 corners. So another thing that people were very confused about, and I think probably still are, is resizing the text boxes. So what happens is they let me move this just over a little bit. They make the box bigger, but for some reason the wording doesn't get any bigger. Well, that's because they're stretching this box right here. So this box is for text wrapping, which I will explain in a little bit, but it is not to resize your lettering. So you can always resize your lettering up here just like normal, or, font size right here. There are options to resize your lettering. So what we're used to though is being able to drag it bigger or smaller, and you can still do that, but you have to use one of the 4 corners. You cannot use this to make this font any bigger. And I find myself doing it a lot where I want it stretched this way, so I use this handle, but where we can't use that handle to resize, we use the corner handle to resize. And just like always, if you want to resize the proportions, the height and width separately, you would go up to the top here to unlock. And this is another icon that used to be on the text box that is no longer, but it's still up here. It has always been up here, actually. But people just didn't realize it because I think they used the one on the actual bounding box. So your lock is right here. So that means that you can size it bigger, smaller from right there. And you don't have to, um, type in the numbers. You can just resize it, but you would have to unlock it to be able to resize the proportions independently. So let's talk about what that side handle does. So this side handle, this is what people try to make their font bigger, and this is what happens. So they're like, well, what the heck? Now it's no bigger. That's because this is a text wrap handle. And so what that does is if you make it smaller, it wraps the text so it's now vertical. Or if it's vertical, you can drag it so it's back horizontal. So that is what text wrapping is for, and that's what this handle is for. So if you're only resizing your fonts, then you don't need this handle. So now we have a problem because let's say we want this, let me see what it is, 5.6. So say we want our lettering only. So from the bottom of here to right here, we want it 6 inches. So we go 6 inches, but that's not 6 inches. The box is 6 inches. So how do we get back from there? So the problem with this is when we resize, it's resizing the box right now and not the individual or the font, the lettering. So to get rid of that, we have to go up here to alignment, and then we have to go wrap off, and it's going to resize the box right back around your font just like you had it when you typed it. So if for some reason you accidentally draw this handle, which like I said, I'm so guilty of that too. So if you drag this handle and your box is getting bigger and your font isn't, you don't have to delete it and start over again because the box is too big and you can't get the sizing right now. All you have to do is go back up or go to alignment and go text wrap off, and it resizes it back down to only around your lettering. So for most people and most projects, I'm going to say that this handle is usually not going to be you're not going to want to touch this handle. So resize by the corners, unlock so you can resize the proportions, width, height. But just remember that if you accidentally pull this, you can always resize the bounding box by turning the text wrap off under alignment. So I know a lot of people have been confused about that, and hopefully that helps somebody, because I was pretty confused at first. Before you get used to it, it's really hard. Like I said, I still grab that silly little handle, but most people are not wanting to text wrap like this. So it's a handy feature to have if you are, especially with it right on the bounding box. But as you can see now, my box is bigger than my lettering. So that's a really easy fix. You don't have to delete it and retype it. So I hope that helps somebody. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I will get back to you. Thanks, guys.